From the Texas Scorecard, real news for real Texans. We don't know who our House Speaker is going to be yet. There's a lot on the table. Dave Phelan was previously House Speaker last year, or the last session, and right now he is facing some serious uphill challenges. The biggest uphill challenge that he has, which is just kind of the all-encompassing, is the fact that there are a lot of Republicans inside the state of Texas that do not want Democrats to chair any committees inside the House. The Republican Party of Texas in the House for a long time now has had Democratic chairs heading certain committees. And this is obviously an act of bipartisanship. This is an act of trying to work together. Now, a lot of Texans are saying, don't do that. They're not allowing us to fully get all of our agenda that we want. They're gumming up processes that, maybe we wanted to get a certain bill passed, or there's a special group or an advocacy group that wanted to get a bill through. Well, it's going to be hard to do when certain committees are headed by Democrat chairmen and don't share conservative values or Republican values, however you want to put that. So Dave Phelan is up on the chopping block, might not be the next Speaker of the House. And of course, we have Rick Perry here, out here actually running around trying to get him to be Speaker of the House. So, hey, that's it. So let's read real quick about this story. This is from again, Texas Scorecard. I came in January of 1985, and there have always been Democrat as chairs when we had Republican speakers. This is Rick Perry. When Perry entered the Texas House in 1985, he did so as a Democrat, and Democrats have held a majority in the chamber. Perry did not switch to the GOP until he ran for statewide office. Didn't know that, actually. I'm just learning that. So he used to be a Democrat. Okay. So when he came in, he was a Democrat. Democrat were chairmen or chairwomen, head of chairs on these committees. As a Democrat, he moved farther to the left. The practice of awarding them committee chairmanships has come under scrutiny by GOP activists in recent years because the conservative priorities being stymied by House leadership. In exchange for their support in 2020 and 2022, Speaker Phelan allowed Democrats to thwart Republican priorities on issues ranging from election security to education reform and tax relief. When Democrats held the state to block consideration of election integrity legislation, Phelan refused to move their chairmanship. I can see why that would piss a lot of people off. On the Republican primary ballot in 2020, more than 1.8 million Texans voted on the question of ending the practice of giving chairmanship to Democrats. The non-binding proposition passed with more than 80% of support. The issue is priority of the Republican Party of Texas 2025 legislative agenda. That's a pretty big margin when 80%, 1.8 million Texans voted, and they said 80% said they want that to stop. Early this year, 46 Republicans in the Texas House signed a letter stating they would only vote for a candidate of speaker pursuant to the platform and the caucus bylaws, who will only appoint Republicans as committee chairs. Since then, 48 Republican members of the incoming 89th legislature have endorsed David Cook of Manfield to replace Phelan. That's a lot. So he's definitely going to have to shake some hands there and make a couple deals. The incumbent speaker has not released the list of supporters, but Perry told KXAN that he's got the votes to be elected. But when pressed on the names, Perry refused. Perry agreed that when he asked Phelan's pathway to speakership would come from Democrats, supplemented by Republicans. Okay, so he's going to be leaning into some Democratic support to get those votes up. And that makes sense. That does make sense. He's saying, hey, I'm going to keep Democrats on, head of committees, different chairmanships. That would make sense that they're going to show up and vote for them. Perry agreed that when Phelan's pathway to leadership would be supplemented, by Democrats. Yeah, it makes total sense. Last week, Texas United for a Republican Majority issued an unofficial head count in which they could only identify 10 lawmakers supporting Phelan. Sources in the Capitol have said Perry received a 7-figure payout to support Phelan's re-election as part of a bid to bring casino gambling to Texas. Okay, that's interesting. This is a really great article. If you have not check out Texas Scorecard and you want to hear about things going on in Texas that are in depth, this is it right here. Texas Scorecard kicks ass. They constantly have really great articles in here, a lot of on-the-ground reporting. And as you can see, you now have the full scoop on what's going on with the House speakership. And I'm sure it's going to leave you with a lot of questions, but you'll be able to find them from there. So that's really great. We'll see how this turns out. We're coming up on the vote sooner rather than later. The direction of the Texas party, the Republican Party, obviously, as the left has gotten more left, the right appears to be getting more right. Is that really true? Everything says the oval to window is actually moving to the left. Now, I am a bipartisan person. I do think that you should have some Democrats heading some chairs. I think that would probably disenfranchise some amount of Democrats in the state of Texas if you don't. Here's the issue with it. Which chairs do you put them on? Obviously, all of them have some kind of degree of importance in this entire process. School choice has obviously been a massive deal. That is one of Governor Abbott's top priorities for this year. So putting a Democrat at the top of that committee is probably not a good idea. Tax relief, election integrity. Everywhere I go, people continue to talk about election integrity. That's going to be a big one. What kind of workaround or bipartisanship are you going to get from Democrats on election integrity? We saw how this went in during COVID when they all got on the plane and then flew to Washington, D.C. No mask, by the way. No mask. That really pissed me off. Everywhere I had to go, I had to wear a mask. And then they were on the plane drinking beers, no mask. They would stop selling alcohol during COVID on the planes. That also sucks because every time you go into the airport, yes, you want to drink. And when you get on the planes, you want to continue to drink. Who cares if it's 10 a.m.? That's the point. It's a lawless society once you get past TSA. Once they get done patting you down and touch your private parts, you can just start drinking all the pain away and the sadness from being patted down. But they took those things away, and the Democrat House members of Texas said, no, we're actually not going to follow those rules. We don't need the mask mandates right now, and we can drink on our plane. And they got on our private plane and they flew to Washington, D.C. So that's all really sad. That's all really sad, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this thing plays out. I would like to see some bipartisanship. One thing I definitely do not want to see is a freaking casino in Texas. I like the fact I have to drive my happy ass an hour or an hour and a half up to the Oklahoma border and be on native reserve land and say, oh, okay, cool, now I got a casino. We do not need casinos in Texas, my opinion. I don't want a casino in Dallas. That's for damn sure. Everyone talks about the tax revenue. Casinos are wildly disproportionately affecting people that are broke. People that are broke, people that are living off the state, show up on the 1st and the 15th with those checks and burn through them immediately. That's the busiest days in a casino. Go on the 1st and 15th and compare it to any other day on the revenue is the busiest days. Thank you, Texas Scorecard. Please like and subscribe if this was of any interest to you. Comment below. Follow me on X. We got a few more videos coming up about what is going on in Texas, what's going on with the election, and what's going on with geopolitics. Thank you so much.